Breaking news. The covert Israeli air campaign over the West Bank and Gaza. According to Palestinians, the biggest city in southern Gaza, Khan Yunis, is haunted by an eerie noise that reverberates throughout the day and night. No, that sound isn't the result of an Israeli jet dropping a bomb. Israeli drones circling overhead are making that low hum. According to Palestinian journalist Tarek Hajjaj, who works as a freelancer, they are always airborne. The international community is watching, and many Palestinians are worried how Israel will launch its war in southern Gaza as civilians flee the area. Airstrikes are the main point of emphasis. In order to reduce the number of civilian casualties, Israeli officials, including 2 drone pilots currently serving, stated that they adhere to strict protocols. After reviewing the intelligence, every strike must be approved by a military attorney from the Israel Defense Forces. In addition, pilots need to assess the risk of civilian casualties in real time. One of the drone pilots said, "We pre-plan what happens if children enter our area," in reference to the decision to cancel the strike. As is their wont, we have contingency plans in place for when terrorists use rockets and drive into densely populated areas. Many people are concerned about the large number of airstrikes that Israel has carried out in areas with high population densities. The IDF dropped 6,000 bombs on Gaza in the first week of the conflict, which started after a terrorist attack by Hamas on October 7 killed over 1,200 Israelis. The United States dropped 7,400 bombs on Afghanistan in 2019. According to Professor Yanina Dill, who is also a co-director of the Institute for Ethics, Law, and Armed Conflict at Oxford University, Israel may be breaking international law. She used the amount of airstrikes, the estimated 13,000 Palestinian casualties, and remarks made by Israeli officials as evidence that they hold the view that not all Palestinian civilians are deserving of protection. A combination of these 3 factors, according to Dill, makes it very hard to believe that all airstrikes here comply with international humanitarian law. The Israeli Defense Forces have been tight-lipped about the exact number of bombings they have carried out since they revealed the amount of airstrikes they carried out in the first week of the war. The majority of Israeli strikes are carried out by drones, according to an anonymous Israeli official who refused to be named. "Some of the things in Gaza are not unmanned aircraft, but a lot of them are," he remarked. Repeated, apparently unlawful attacks on medical facilities were alleged by Human Rights Watch last week, who argued that the Israeli military should be investigated as war crimes. Hamas, according to Israeli authorities, is constructing command centers beneath hospitals. In the meantime, the Biden administration has been silent on the veracity of Israeli airstrikes while harshly criticizing Russian aggression against innocent Ukrainians. The complete details of Israel's bombing campaign are still mostly unknown, according to UN officials and open-source data researchers, because war crimes investigators and international journalists are unable to work independently in Gaza. "It's really tricky," commented an anonymous researcher. "It's hard to say." The Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, granted NBC News access to a drone base south of Tel Aviv and spoke with 2 pilots currently serving in the Israeli military. The Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, considers the pilots' identities classified, so Israeli officials have asked that they remain anonymous. The pilots chose not to reveal their intended targets, but it seems that Israel's attacks in Gaza are aimed at 2 main objectives. First, destroying Hamas's rocket-launching capabilities. And second, eliminating the group's senior leadership, a task made more challenging by the group's vast network of underground tunnels. The pilots detailed their efforts to reduce civilian casualties during strikes. There was discussion of the controversy surrounding Israeli air attacks, which they acknowledged. "A terrible thing, war. There is utter anarchy within. This is made 100 times worse for us when the other side, Hamas, is using innocent people as human shields," the first pilot said. Furthermore, the first pilot emphasized that they are an essential component of the conflict and the battlefield. "No matter what happens, we will be held completely accountable." It is our responsibility to eliminate those who must be eliminated and nobody else, the second pilot stated.